Erica asked if I spelled out my launch workflow step by step, what would it look like? Well, here's the big secret. There's no silver bullet to a launch. What I've learned is you've got to be willing to put in the time and try different strategies with your audience and see how they respond. Get to be the mad scientist in your lab, so to speak. But if you're willing to do that, great idea, by the way, then you are in the right place. Because in today's video, I'm answering a question I get all the time: how to have a successful launch and pre-launch. And be sure to stay tuned till the end. I'm going to share a few ideas and things I'm thinking about specifically in regard to webinars this year. These strategies have worked so well for my students that have successfully used them inside my Prime to Launch method to craft a pre-launch plan and then actually slide into that launch itself. I'm excited to get to talk about them with you too. Hey there, if we haven't met yet, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I've helped thousands of creators and creative entrepreneurs like you as a conversion copywriter and launch strategist, because not knowing what to say should not be the thing that's holding you back from making sales. Click like if you agree. Okay, first up, I'm going to share a few ideas on crafting your plan and your offer. So number one, you need a defined offer and a plan. That's step one of the launch workflow. That offer has got to be irresistible, and I think this is something that a lot of people don't think about when they're headed into their launch itself. You spend a lot of time on the marketing of it all, and you built a good offer, but you've got to think about how to put it out there and communicate it in a way that is irresistible to your audience. Now, I know when we say launch, we think of different things. So if you haven't heard me say it before, launch is just a sexy word for a marketing campaign. And you can be launching different things. You may have a new website launch, you may have a product launch, and I absolutely believe that you should be launching your one-on-one services. But no matter what your promo campaign is around, you can't do it without a clear and a defined packaged offer. As I get into this, I wanted to mention a tool that you can absolutely use. It is wonderful. It's from Offer Cure, created by Julie and Kathy over at Funnel Gorgeous. It can help take you through breaking out your offer and splintering it into different pieces so you can communicate that with your audience. Look into that if you've struggled with defining your offer. But once you do have that clearly defined offer in place, then we need to come up with the marketing plan and the vehicle to actually get that out there. Now, for an in-depth talk on actually crafting that marketing calendar with your 4 quarterly champagne campaigns, I want you to look at this video that I have. I'll link it below. But for now, what I've done is mock up a launch calendar right here so you can kind of see what I mean. This is a calendar, an example of what I teach inside Prime to Launch, but it has a few key things that I want you to keep in mind too. So first, it's going to have a defined period of the launch push itself, and that's going to be a 10-day window or less. No more than 10. You never want your launch window to be more days than you actually have messages to put out. So that can come into play a lot. I think sometimes we've had clients come and they say, we're doing a 14-day open cart window, and I say, why? I mean, you may have truly a reason to have it open that long, but usually I would say 9 times out of 10 you don't. That 5 to 10 day window can be great for your launch push, because you should have at least 5 messages that you need to push out there. 5 different hooks and angles and ways that you can start to talk to people about what that offer is. Comment below if 5 to 10 sounds a whole lot better than a really long open cart period. This, again, to reinforce, this is why I like the quarterly champagne campaign system that I have of just 4 big launches a year, because I can do 5 to 10 day windows 4 times a year. I can go all in and get my energy up and rallied for that, but I can't do it for just extended lengths of time, never stopping. I like to nap. Next, you can see that this calendar has what I call a hype piece, and I'll talk more about that in this video. But this essentially, just for now, at least think this is the vehicle that you're going to use to actually pitch and mention the product, the service that you have. Finally, this calendar is going to include us counting back 6 to 8 weeks from that launch date so we can start to stack different messages in. The next piece of the workflow puzzle is story mining for the different content ideas that you need to talk about. So once you have your offer and that plan defined, then you're going to start hearing or starting to need to think about the objections that people will have to purchasing from you, working with you one-on-one, whatever it is. I love this part when we're working with our one-on-one clients in the agency side of my business, because it's so fun to sit there and come up with all the different things you've heard in the past about why people didn't buy that, or they thought they were above the offer, they didn't really need it, or they thought they were in no way ready for it when you knew that they would be a great fit for it. My favorite idea to start to get all of these ideas out and on paper when I'm in a pre-launch phase is to go through my 60 and 60 exercise. Using things like magazine mining, newsjacking, podcast and Pinterest mad libbing, and of course actually listening to what your audience is asking for, and reading up on all of the surveys that you're conducting. That can fill your queue with so many different ideas of content you can put out there and overcome their objections. Anytime you're coming up with these content ideas or going through perhaps that 60 in 60 minutes exercise, I want you to think of these two things. Number one, is this content even going to be interesting to my people? And number two, probably more important, does it show your value? Okay, so you've got this massive list of all the different content ideas that you could put out there, the things your people want to hear from you, the objections that you need to overcome. How in the world do you organize all of this content prior to your launch? The next part of the launch workflow is coming up with an editorial calendar that you can use to disseminate these messages. The best visual I have for this is I literally want you to picture 6 to 8, however many weeks you want to be in pre-launch, dominoes that are all setting up. And what do you have to knock over one by one so they fall and they form this clear path to you, your offer, your product, your service. Now go back to that list that you created, and I want you to circle, highlight, whatever, the top 6 to 8 objections that you're going to hear all the time. You're going to address each one of those in one piece of weekly pillar piece hero content. This is going to be coupled with your audience list building strategy. I talked about that in last week's video, so here it is. Go watch it if you haven't yet, or watch it after this video actually. Because you built your whole annual marketing calendar to focus on just one thing every single quarter, all your hero content for that quarter is driving towards that one thing you're launching. This means you don't have to be all the places. All you need to do is put the investment of your time and energy into crafting those 6 to 8 weeks worth of pillar content that's going to knock over the dominoes one by one. And what you're going to do is repurpose that one piece of hero content and splinter it out into 15 other pieces of content that you can put on different platforms and outlets. Here's the kicker. No matter what is going on in your life, in your business, as you are prepping for that launch, focus on getting that hero piece of content out. I know when I'm going into a launch mode, other things can be falling to the wayside. I may not get to all the different marketing ideas or dreamy ideas that I had, but I know I am getting that piece of content out, that hero piece every week to overcome the objections leading up to the launch, and that matters. Also, I've done a video about repurposing your content before, right here. I'll link it below. That may support you here as well. Okay, moving along this launch workflow that you've started to craft here. Number one, you've come up with that absolutely irresistible offer and the plan to get it out via your launch calendar. Number two, you picked out those top 6 to 8 objections, and now you're going to craft one piece of hero content for those 6 to 8 weeks of pre-launch. That brings us to the next piece of the workflow, is coming up with and executing a hype piece to actually communicate the offer. And even if you hate video, you cannot skip this. There's got to be some sort of vehicle where you're able to look, again, even if it's over the internet, your audience in the eye and tell them what it is that you're putting out there and why they need it. You're saying, hi, this is created just for you. It's open, it's ready for sign up. There's so many different ideas. I include a whole list of different ideas inside Prime to Launch, but this could be like a virtual launch party that you're doing. It could be a webinar, it could be a challenge, it could be a video series. There's tons of things out there and vehicles to communicate this to your audience. I would highly recommend having a video component. I think the most successful ones that I've ever seen with our clients and in my own business, they do have a video component. Let me pause for a minute. I teased webinars earlier on. I want to address those right here. The digital marketing space, is saturated with webinars, and a lot of them unfortunately follow the same templates and formulas and scripts that are already out there. Webinars still work though. I'm sitting here at my desk. I see the statistics all the time. I see the conversion rates. They still work, but they work if they're good. So if you're gonna make a webinar, then go all in on making it juicy. And I would also say that we saw this past year short form content become a way that we love to consume things. TikTok, Reels. So think outside the box, be crafty, figure out how you can take your hype piece message that you're trying to disseminate and not just have maybe a long form version, but can you break it up over days, or do you need to come up with different ways to get a short form iteration of it out there? I'm still braining on this too. I don't have all the answers to it right now. I just think it is something for us to watch for here. And last but not least, the actual launch pieces itself and the messaging that goes into that. Here I'm talking about everything from the emails that you're using to promote and invite people to your hype piece, the sales emails and sequence themselves, the checkout pages, the landing pages, all the pages. I have all of this broken down into a launch copy and content checklist. I will link that below. It is free. It is ready for you. I've also done tons of videos about these specific pieces and how to write them. I will link those below. But part of this process is also setting good expectations, data-driven expectations. That way your launch doesn't end and you say something like, it just wasn't what I expected. Well, what did you expect, and was that based on actual data? Be sure to check out a video I have right here where I talk to you about how to run a launch moratorium. And I know that was a whole lot, even for me, and I love launches, but it goes to show, and hopefully you've seen in this video, when you're creating your launch workflow, you can't just focus on the launch week and vehicle itself. You've got to back up. You need to be priming your audience weeks in advance by overcoming their objections and knocking down those dominoes. And along the way, you need to be seeding in the idea that you have an offer or a service that is coming and you're going to be able to support them with it. If you're feeling inspired about how you can prime your audience well for the different launches that you have planned, then I think you're going to love Prime to Launch. Prime to Launch is my answer to how on earth you figure out how to craft a content strategy that doesn't just rotate through content buckets and instead is going to build a calendar of pre-launch content that primes your audience for that offer that you are about to put in front of them. I'd invite you to check out the link below. That way you can get your hands on my Prime to Launch playbook. You're going to see my content marketing and pre-launch campaign planner, 3 styles of weekly content planning templates, 3 sample launch calendar timelines, a metrics and goals tracker pack, a launch checklist, and more. Here's the link below this video to check out Prime to Launch today. And now you know what you need for a successful launch, but what about priming your audience in advance? Be sure to watch the next video I've got teed up for you, where I'm taking you through 5 ways that you can push out your lead magnet and build your email list. If you liked this video, let me know by clicking the like button and subscribing. And as always, comment below with any questions that you may have. Love answering those. Here's to working from a place of more rest, less hustle, and I'll see you in the next one.